freedom,
family,
world unity.
All these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
Real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing High Consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Hi, y'all.
And welcome back
To another episode of
High Consciousness.
I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And I'm the host, Nicholas.
And we are High Consciousness.
Welcome back, everybody.
Jinx. It's been a little while, and so we're back. So we're going to drop a 2-part Thanksgiving episodes. Today we're going to be going over the first Thanksgiving and the what was served at the first Thanksgiving. And then the next episode we will be talking about how to carve a turkey and bake the perfect apple pie. Which will be next Thursday's episode on Thanksgiving itself. So, stay tuned and stick around for that one. So, today, we are going to do what I said we were going to do and get into it.
Get into the American FunFacts little book.
Yeah, Little American FunFacts book. This is, kind of featured in one of our, very, very first episodes that, where we tried to do something in, a different part of the house and, well, that just didn't work. So now we're going to kind of reboot that whole little series a little bit here and take a little break from, the Constitution and American narrative history for a little while and, dip into this a little bit. Because this little book is actually quite interesting.
And this is that time of the year to be grateful for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And last Christmas, I believe, is when you bought me this book from Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this little book is fun of little fun facts. Full of little fun facts. Anyway, so, getting into it,
we're going to start off.
What is the difference between a pilgrim and a Puritan? The difference is small but significant.
Really?
Remember the Reformation, when the people broke away from the Roman Catholic Church and spun off a new religion called Protestantism, which we did go over in America Narrative History. The Church of England grew out of that famous split, but some people didn't think it went far enough. These folks viewed the Anglican Church, with its fancy robes and ritualized tradition, as just another version of what they considered to be the corrupted and decadent Catholic Church. These protesters, called Puritans, wanted to further purify the English Church. The Puritans were split into 2 factions, separatists and non-separatists, which we went over those in the intro of the Constitution, didn't we? Or was that the Constitutionalists and the non-Constitutionalists?
The non-Constitutionalists.
But I thought that was also separatist too.
No.
Well, anyway, moving along. The separatists wanted to break entirely from the Church of England and start their own church. The non-separatists didn't want to split. They valued a connection to the existing church and longed for a modification of its views. Disgruntled, a group of separatist Puritans left England, setting out first for Holland and then the New World. On their journey to their new home, aboard a little vessel known as the Mayflower, which we go over in the Constitution and American narrative history, these diehards were referred to themselves as pilgrims. They settled in the Plymouth Plantation and became closely identified with the Thanksgiving holiday that Americans celebrate today. And as we went over in The Secret Destiny of America, one of our first relaunch episodes, we had talked about Nostradamus and how he had predicted America and how they would be the land that keeps the Blessed Thursday or something like that, like 500 years or so, not 500 years, like 200 and some years before America was even A, found, and B,
Thanksgiving was even a thing.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was even a thing. Like, at the time that Nostradamus made the prediction about America being the blessed land of the kept Thursday was,
Of the third Thursday.
Yeah, of the third Thursday or something like that.
Because we celebrate Thanksgiving on every third Thursday of November.
Mm-hmm. So at that time, there was just the natives on the land, and there was no explorations or anything as far as Nostradamus knew, maybe possibly, at that time of, travels to the New World and any discoveries about it. So, moving along. 10 years later, as the anti-Puritan sentiment grew in England, their non-separatist brethren, the Puritans, fled to America and founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony, which we recently just went over in America Narrative History. Mm-hmm. I love how, this goes back to, the Constitution, American Narrative History, and The Secret Destiny of America. I love it. And founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony in the city of Boston. These more prosperous and more zealous Puritans live on in popular culture as the honorary group who burned witches and made people wear the scarlet letters.
The scarlet letters. Oh no.
A really, really good little piece of literature, the Scarlet Letter there. And it's a very interesting movie. Like, reading the book itself, like, you can kind of get a good imagery idea of what things would look like, but when you actually, like, watch the movie, it makes it, like, all that more better. But I would strongly suggest reading the book, then watching the movie. Don't do the opposite.
Is that the one with John Proctor?
Yeah, that's the one where, John Proctor, the whole thing, yeah, because
Abigail.
he was the one that was, sleeping with Abigail.
And Abigail was the witch, but she was the one that was blaming everyone else being the witch because she wanted to marry John Proctor. And that's where we get the famous thing, "My name's my name."
My name's my name. So, there was that. And now...
Yeah, his name was his name.
Yeah, his name was his name.
Yeah, he proctored that up.
Anyways, so...
What was served at the first Thanksgiving, y'all?
And I'm going to hand it off to Nicholas to read now.
The Pilgrims landed in 1620 and suffered a miserable winter in their new home. Nearly half died. The next fall brought a bountiful harvest, and the settlers celebrated with a feast held on December 13th, 1621. So it wasn't even November that they celebrated Thanksgiving on. It was actually in December. So
then why do we celebrate it on the third Thursday of November then?
That's a very good question. However, there's no documentation to suggest that turkey was the focus of the meal. Instead, food historians believe that the Pilgrims feasted on edibles that abundant in Plymouth Colony, oysters, eels, geese, corn, leeks, venison, and berries. So they eat oysters, eels, and geese.
And geese?
Yeah.
A goose.
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposed to have goose for Thanksgiving, not turkey.
That's why I've been working on a lot of them darn ducks.
I guess so.
And apparently eels, too.
Have you been having to, pick up eels and stuff like that?
No.
At Walmart? No?
No, a lot of octopuses, though.
Octopus?
Mm-hmm.
Like calamari or like octopus?
Octopus. Like on the box, it literally says steamed octopus. Strange world.
What? Who has octopus on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. A lot of people do their own thing.
That's odd.
Anyways, journal entries from that year mention everything from bass and cod to deer and, yes, wild turkeys. So it is possible the bird was on the menu too. 2 years later, in 1623, cranberries and pumpkin pie were added to the feast.
Ooh.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie. Oh, is that it?
That looks like that's...
Alright, that was it for that little segment.
Well, that little segment right then, I feel like we need to go a little bit more deeper into it and see what else that they made into Thanksgiving. They didn't talk about how the Native Americans were right there with the Pilgrims.
I agree. You know, the whole story with, Squanto and the other guy that, they had at the table to help them grow all that food that, they had at the harvest for their first Thanksgiving. That is something important to add there that, I am kind of disappointed that our little Fun Facts About America book, on that little topic, they didn't mention that because, the natives were a very big part of it. I mean, they were the whole reason why the Pilgrims even survived that winter in general.
Well, we can go over what came out of America, the 10 foods that was invented in America.
You know what? Since we're on the foods topic, why not? Let's go over it.
All right.
Do you want to read or will I read?
I can read.
All right, cool.
I can read the first 5. All right. 10 foods invented in America. Pizza may be the most delicious food on the planet, but it wasn't born in America. Not were macaroni and cheese, fries, ice cream, or tacos. Here's a list of 10 delicious treats that America can lay claim to. Velvet cake.
Yes!
Velvet cake, there are 2 main types. The chocolate velvet cake, a dense, fudgy wedge of chocolatey sin, was first created by pastry chef Albert Kuhmann. When he was working at the Four Seasons restaurant in New York in 1959, the second type, the red velvet cake, is a festive dessert served by generations of gracious Southern hostesses. Despite stories of chefs using beets as a sugar substitute, the red velvet cake most likely grew out of a Depression-era marketing campaign for food dye. The color bestowed a regal quality to the chocolate or vanilla-flavored cake.
So, I wonder why it's my favorite cake. Because I am a Southern person. I'm a Southern belle. I was raised by Yankees, but I was born in the South. Makes sense? No.
Number 2, a corn dog. A frankfurter dipped in cornmeal batter and deep fried. What could be better? The resulting corn dog has an unclear provenance. A 1929 patent was awarded to Stanley Jenkins for a machine that allowed vendors to fry foods impaled on a stick. But around the same time, other restaurants' supply catalogs offer similar devices. Nell Fletcher of Texas is credited with having sold his original State Fair corny dogs in 1942. Today, corn dogs are classic staples of American state fairs because they're festive, fun, and easy to carry and eat.
Hey, so America gets the credit for corn dogs. Awesome.
Number 3, cheesesteak. Passyunk Avenue in...
Ooh, your favorite kind of sandwich.
Passyunk Avenue in downtown Philadelphia is the epicenter of cheesesteak lore. Pat and Henry Oliveri claimed to have created the classic sandwich in the 1930s. Grilling thinly sliced steaks and serving it in a roll, either plain with onions, mushroom, peppers, and other toppings, or topped with provolone, American cheese, or Cheese Whiz. The sandwich is new found on menus nationwide.
Man, all this talk about food is starting to make me hungry. Probably too late for this warning, but warning, if you're hungry, don't watch this episode.
Number 4, chop suey and chow mein.
What?
Chop suey, yeah.
That's us?
Mm-hmm.
We get the credit for that?
Yeah.
Cool.
You'd be hard-pressed to find what passes for Chinese food in the United States on menus in China. Chop suey, which is meat and veggies, and chow mein, meat and vegetables over fried noodles, were first devised beginning in the 1850s by Chinese or Chinese-American chefs who served Chinese workers building railroads across the United States. By the turn of the 20th century, the dishes made the leap to Chinese restaurants frequently, tellingly, by American, not Chinese diners. To all them Chinese diners that you go to, yeah, those are American diners. Low-key, those are American.
Those are all American diners.
Mm-hmm. Chop suey is American food. Get over it.
Wake up! Grab a version of the makeup! Had this car's video way to check up! Why'd you leave the keys on the table? Why'd you leave the keys on the table? You wanted to! Chop suey.
No, number 5. Waldorf, Cobb, and Caesar salad. The Waldorf salad, which adds chopped apples, walnuts, and celery to a salad tossed in mayo dressing, was first conceived by Oscar Tinskervy?
Scurvy? Skirky?
Tishkirky.
Or Shirky, probably. Because, you know, when you have a T and an S like that, like a little fun fact for those that don't know, when you have a T and an S beside each other, it usually makes like a Sue sound. Or shoe, something like that.
Shoe shirking?
Like, you know how tsunami is spelled T-S-U-M-A-N-I?
Yeah, but
you say tsunami, not tsunami.
Yeah, but it's spelled like T-S-C-H-I-R-K-Y, so how the hell you...
Skirky? Skursky? Skursky?
Skursky? Skirt.
Skirky?
A clever material matrade. A clever matrade?
Mater?
Who worked at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Waldorf. Where's Waldo? At the Astoria Hotel in New York. Shirksky may have included the salad in a recipe book he edited for the restaurant in 1896. The Cobb, a salad made of turkey or chicken, diced hard-boiled eggs, avocado, bacon, scallions, and Roquefort cheese over greens, is believed to have originated in the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant in the 1930s and been named after restaurateur Robert Cobb. The Caesar is a tribute to Caesar Cardini, an Italian immigrant who opened restaurants in San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico. His family claims that Cardini invented the salad, cheese, and croutons tossed atop green grapes with a dressing of egg, lemon juice, and Worcestershire sauce. During a busty 4th of July rush at his, I said it correctly before, Tijuana.
Like the marijuana. Tijuana.
Located. Now, pass on to Victoria.
Alright.
Ah, yes.
So, Anadama bread.
That's what I wanted to read it on. Anadama.
An angry New England fisherman gets fed up with his wife's bread and concocts a dark loaf of his own consisting cornmeal and molasses. Anna, damn it, that's what I like, he says. And this bread with a strange name is born. Is the story or its many variants true? No one can say, but the sweet, chewy bread is tasty anyway. And that Anadama bread, that is the same bread that you can get at, most steakhouses like the Outback. That is the brown wheat bread that they bring you. That's the Anadama bread. And supposedly it came from some New England guy that was fed up with the way his wife made bread, and he was like, Anna, damn it! I want it this way. Number 7. Oysters Benville, Kirkpatrick, and Rockefeller. No nation can claim to have invented the oyster, but these 3 dishes all originated here in the United States. The creamy green pepper, onion, cheese, and breadcrumb Benville dish is named after the founder of New Orleans and was invented by Antoine's, the city's famous restaurant in the 1930s or 40s. The Kirkpatrick green pepper and bacon preparation came to life at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco during the turn of the 20th century. The key ingredients of Oysters Rockefeller, also invented at Antoine's, may well be the best-kept secret in the world. Its chef-creator insisted on his death that the recipe remain a secret. Restaurants throughout the world have developed their own versions of this mysterious green, creamy, anise-flavored dish.
But they'll never know.
So with Rockefeller oysters, we'll never know the recipe. That's.
We gotta be like Plankton. Give us a secret recipe.
Gotta do all the sneaky spy stuff to get the secret recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, buffalo chicken wings. Heck yeah! The scene is the Anchor Bar, Buffalo, New York, in 1964. Owner Teresa Bellissimo receives a larger than expected order of chicken wings and decides to serve them to her patrons with a spicy hot sauce. A napkin-consuming legend is born, which spreads far beyond the snowy home of the Bills.
It's just Buffalo Bills, that's all.
F the Bills! F them! We're Dolphins fans. We don't like the Bills.
No.
We don't like the Bills at all.
No, did you hear that?
That was my stomach.
Oh my.
I told you all this talk about food is making me hungry. Seriously. Like, I hope you guys could hear that in the camera. Speedies. Shoemaking Italian immigrants in Binghamton, New York, snapped up these local sandwiches from vendors as early as the 1930s. Marinated cubes of chicken, lamb, pork, or other meats were grilled on a skewer and then swiped off the stick with a slice of squishy white Italian bread. The skewer is tossed and the patrons eat the resulting sandwich. Now, Speedies are enjoyed all across the United States, not just by the residents of Bingo Land. I didn't know Binghamton, New York was where Bingo Land is. Bingo Land.
Now, last but not least,
the Toll House cookie. Everybody's favorite cookie.
because it's American.
Full-fledged, born and bred American. Cornbread-fed American. When Ruth Wakefield first baked her now famous chocolate crunch cookie at her historic Toll House Inn in Massachusetts in the 1930s, she broke up bars of Nestle chocolate and tossed the tiny chunks into her batter. The chocolate melted slightly but remained fairly chunky. She allowed the Nestle company to print the recipe on their chocolate bars, and soon the entire nation was baking these distinctive chocolate chip cookies. It wasn't until 1939 that Nestle started packaging drop-like chips so that home cooks wouldn't have to chop bars into bits.
How sweet.
And that is it for our topic today. Thanksgiving episode part 1. Stick around for part 2 on next Thursday. We'll see you then.
Yep.